Dear students, welcome to the course Science of Consciousness in Ancient India. This is lecture 11. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about the cognitive process, because this is the fundamental structure on the basis of which I will explain all the systems. In the last lecture, I told you that we are going to discuss Nyaya Vaisheshik, Sankhya Yoga, Vedant, and then Kashmir Shaiva Darshan. So, I have clubbed Nyaya Vaisheshik then Sankhya Yoga because they are belonging. Nyaya Vaisheshik explains the gross level of understanding. Sankhya Yoga explains the dualistic understanding. Two entities are ultimate. So, the structure on the basis of which they all are going to explain everything, that is the cognitive process. Why? Because I told you the definition of darshan is drishyate anen iti darshanam. So, through which you are able to see something or perceive something, that is understood as darshan. And if you stuck to the same definition, there are three basic constituents when you say like I am seeing or something is being seen by me. So, there are three basic entities: who is seeing, who is perceiving, who is the cognizer, and second, what is being seen, क्या देखा जा रहा है, the object of cognition, and the third is through which you are seeing, what is the means of cognition, जिसके थ्रू आप देख रहे हैं. So, the three basic things which come into the scene, they are the cognizer, object of cognition, and means of cognition. So, in turn, in the modern sciences, in the modern understanding, in the cognitive sciences, we use the word cognition for this triangle. That's why I said that Anvikshaki is the basic term for the modern sciences. बाकी सारी चीज़ें हम अभी छोड़ चुके हैं, बहुत पीछे हैं, हम बहुत कब जानते हैं. एक डिस्कोर्स का लॉजिकल बेसिस ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज जस्ट आन्वीक्षिकी दैट कैन बी इक्वेटेड विद द साइंसेज. सो इफ़ यू टॉक द सेम ट्रायंगल, you take the same triangle of understanding which is the part of darshan shastra, is nowadays being taught to the students in the name of cognitive sciences. They draw this triangle as a cognitive triangle, and then they say there are three constituents: cognizer, object of cognition, and the means of cognition. And this, if you go through the Indian corpus, you will find this triangle is not the cognitive triangle for the modern understanding, it is the basic understanding of the darshan shastra. दर्शन में तीन चीज़ें होती हैं, तो आप क्या देख रहे हैं, किसके द्वारा देख रहे हैं, और देखने वाला कौन है, तब दर्शन की प्रक्रिया पूरी होती है. सो हियर यू कैन सी, लाइक आई हैव कोटेड, लाइक वी आर एक्चुअली हैविंग टोटल 16 दर्शनास. जो पॉपुलर नंबर है हमारे पास 16 दर्शनों का है. बट राइट नाउ बिकॉज ऑफ यू कैन से लाइक people are not interested to understand darshan, they are much more inclined or attracted towards the cognitive sciences. So, the number in the last 20 years, the popular number also reduced to the 6 or 7 darshanas only. They stuck to those only, on they continuously taught those 6 systems popularly. A lot of the other important disciplines were left behind. For example, in your course itself, I have clubbed Nyaya Vaisheshik, then Sankhya Yoga, then Kashmir Shaiva Darshan, and Vedant, 6 systems. क्योंकि 6 महीने में सब नहीं पढ़ा सकते, but there are still few systems which are left, like Jain, Bodh. They are also the part of darshan shastra. In the same way, Vaishnav darshan, that is also the part of darshan shastra. So, हमारे पास in total we have 16 darshanas, and there is a compendium which you can see, the name is Sarva Darshan Sangraha. This is Sarva, then Darshan, and then Sangraha. So, Sangraha means collection or a compendium, and Darshan means all the darshanas, sarva means all. So, this is a kind of compendium or encyclopedic compendium, or you can say a collection of all the darshanas which were available, and that was done by Madhvacharya. Madhvacharya is the person who collected all these 16 darshanas in his compendium or in his own composition, that is named as Sarva Darshan Sangraha. So, if you are being asked what is the composition of Madhvacharya, the answer would be Sarva Darshan Sangraha. So, in Sarva Darshan Sangraha, how many darshanas are there, are compiled together? Then number is 16. Number is 16. So now you can see we can classify, for the sake of better understanding, that we can classify darshanas into 3 categories. First is the non-dual darshan, second is non-dual cum dual, and third is the dual one. Non-dual darshan means you have to consider one ultimate reality. That's why I said there is no dualness. Signifier and signified both are superposed together. So there is only one entity at the end, and for that purpose we use the word like Brahman or Param Shiv or something like that. In other darshanas also we are having non-dual understanding, and in that we have particular word to denote that non-dual state also. So and the second is non-dual cum dual. That means here we discuss both the aspects when we are talking about the non-dual understanding and when we are in a state of dualness also. So we take both the conditions together. That becomes the second part, and the dual one only accepts the differential reality or the two entities as the ultimate understanding. So we are right now in the modern sciences also, in Anvikshaki also, we are little bit toward in the state of dualness. When we reach to the much subtler aspects, like today we are trying to investigate subtle and most subtle possible level of understanding in the science also, then you are trying to converse your research toward a single non-dual entity only. So हमारा आज भी हमारा रास्ता यही है, हम यहाँ से शुरू कर रहे हैं डिस्कोर्स को और जाना कहाँ है, यहाँ तक, ये पूरा रास्ता कवर करना है. आज भी हम अन्वीक्षकी में यही कर रहे हैं, प्रोसेस यही है. So now there are 3 constituents of the triangle as per the current description. You can find like we have 3 basic entities, and when you draw this cognitive triangle with reference of the Indian way, that means darshan का triangle आप draw करेंगे. You are drawing the triangle of darshan. So darshan, if you keep darshan in the mid, and then there it would be one cognizer. So it is pramata. The word is pramata, for whom? The one who cognizes or the one who is the observer. Then second is prameya, the object of cognition, the thing which is being cognized is the prameya. And the third one, pramada, that means through which you are going to perceive something or to observe something. So means of cognition, you can see like cognizer, object of cognition and means of cognition. This is the understanding within Darshan Shastra, actually in our context of IKS. So you can see like prameya, praman and pramata. What is prameya? The substance under investigation is object of cognition, prameya. The mode of investigation is the means of cognition or pramada, and the one who is performing the investigation is pramata, the cognizer. So in the cognition process, the cognizer is of the utmost importance, and the concept and the number related with the cognizer varies with the level of knowledge attained. This is very important. I will explain in detail. Kaise? Sometimes we feel like I explained in the last class that even if you are in a laboratory working on the same entity, like you have to measure out the gravity, ठीक है, एक ही टारगेट है आप सबका, but still each and every one records or try to record different readings to look like realistic. क्यों? Why it's not possible that all the readings took by all the students would be single same entity, जबकि आपको पता है universally that is the same entity. 9.8 उसका standard version है. So why you are not stacking yourself to bring out the 9.8 exactly in whole of the class of the 100 students? Different cognizers. There are different possibilities of the errors. So the problem is, once we understand this triangle with the reference of the cognizer, sometimes we feel like the cognizers are multiple or they can be infinite, and sometimes when we converge to the standard version of some identifying the structure or the existence of something, we feel like cognizer is only one because the standard number or the standard answer is only one. होना वही चाहिए, वही idealistic state है. तो एक ही रीडिंग होगी तो सभी एक ही हो जाएंगे, दैट मीन्स सबका apparatus एक ही जैसा काम कर रहा है. There is no error in any of the means of the cognition. For example, in the lab, he is working, his apparatus is very good, the lens is perfect, and whatever instruments he is using, that is perfectly standardized, and there is no error. So the reading would be fine, standardized one, maybe having lesser amount of error. But the second person whose apparatus is faulty would be having a different reading. So the standard version would be always remain the same one. Maybe the fault or the error would bring different understandings about the same thing. So the same thing is available here. Some people say like cognizers are multiple in reality. When you go or you talk at the level of dual state, and when you converse yourself at a single locus, that is the non-dual state, the answer would be the one only single standard version. That is the one cognizer, same in all. Because with in all the differential identities also, the standard one without any error would be the same. That is the level where we converse at the single cognizer. So we start with the different identities and then we converse at a single level. There are three dominant means of cognitions also. Dominant, I am not saying that the number is fixed. Three dominant, that means they are accepted by most of the disciplines: direct perception, inference and verbal testimony. Direct perception is pratyaksha, inference is anuman and verbal testimony is shabd. I will discuss in detail. The number of objects of cognition vary as per the level of understanding. Few darshanas say that the number which are required to be cognized in whole of the creation, whole of the manifestation at any point of time is this one. For some it is 7, for some it is 6, for some it is 25, for some it is 36. The number varies as per the level of understanding. So this is something which is going to be dealt in different systems with the reference of Nyaya, then Vaisheshik, then Sankhya, then Yoga, then Kashmir Shaiva and Vedanta. For general understanding, if you see this diagram, here one person is cognizer, the one who is cognizing or trying to achieve some kind of knowledge, cognizer, that is the pramata. So in our understanding it would be like pramata. ठीक है, pramata कब कहते हैं, बहुत special है. I will explain the meaning of the word also. Once the person is cognizing some kind of object, so the object of cognition is prameya. Books are here the object of cognition, through which कैसे देख रहा है, means क्या है, instrument क्या है, through the eyes, that means the consciousness, the energy which is rushing out through the eyes, through the channel of the eyes, or you can say the passage of the eyes, is the means of cognition. So it is pramada. That's why in normal understanding what we say, I have seen it, sir, it's valid. Why? Because I have seen it. प्रमाण है ये इसको आप invalid नहीं कह सकते. It's valid because I have directly seen it. So automatically you say it is very authentic once you directly perceive it. See, direct perception is so important or so strong evidence कि अगर आपने कुछ खुद से सुना है, खुद से देखा है, तो आप उस पर 2 मिनट या यूँ कहिए 2% का भी शक नहीं करते. Though there is a chance of error, sometimes whatever you perceive through your senses is not absolutely valid. For example, suppose, take a very simple example. Suppose you are you heard the sentence of your wife or your sister or your mother, but half sentence. You just came into the room and you heard just the last few words or last few sentences she was talking to someone else, and you got furious, and then you started fighting with the person. आपने मुझे ऐसे कैसे कह दिया? How you define me like that? So then the person would start explaining you that you just heard the half of the discourse. पूरी बात तो तुमने सुनी नहीं. Sometimes there is a chance that the direct perception can also become invalid. क्योंकि direct perception में भी error की chance बराबर है. That's why I am saying in a lab itself, when you are going to analyze the same reading of G, you try to put it realistic. That means try to bring it out that there are chances of the fault or error. ये realism आप show करते हैं, यही realism आप show करने की कोशिश करते हैं. Realism का मतलब ये है there are chances of error, and though the direct perception is the strongest possible evidence for any case, still there is a chance of error. Still there is a chance, but it is accepted as the widely accepted evidence of in any of the discourse possible. Then in this whole of the case, once you see something, once you cognize something through any of the senses, either by seeing or by listening or by touch, taste, the 5 senses we possess, through any of the mode, if you receive some kind of knowledge, that is available to your consciousness, that is the actual knowledge. So the knowledge you get, that becomes known as prama. So you see the cognitive process involves 3 things which are not in direct intercourse, still the knowledge is gathered. This process of acquiring knowledge necessarily involves object to be cognized, this one, means to cognize, this one, and then the cognizer, the one who is cognizing the things. Through the perfect joining of these 3 constituents, knowledge is achieved. You acquire the knowledge. So the knowledge acquired. In IKS, this process of acquiring knowledge is dealt with the name of दर्शन. ठीक है, अब समझ में आया दर्शन क्यों लॉजिक बेस्ड साइंसेस है, क्योंकि आप 3 बेसिक चीज़ों को एक्सेप्ट कर रहे हैं on the basis of valid means of cognitions. Through any valid means of cognition, you are going to acquire the knowledge about any object, and the one who is going to acquire the knowledge is the cognizer. So darshan includes all the 3 entities, and in the process the acquired knowledge is known as pramiti. So the knowledge becomes known as pramiti. This is the word denoted to identify the knowledge acquired. If the acquired knowledge is valid, it becomes prama. If the acquired knowledge is invalid, it is known as aprama, negate the prama. In Sanskrit we use the prefix a to just negate the actual meaning of the word. Prama is valid one, so aprama would be invalid one. So the whole of the process of darshan is to identify or to gather the knowledge pramiti. Attained or acquired knowledge can be of 2 types. It can be valid, it can be invalid. If it is valid, it is prama. If it is invalid, it is aprama. Clear? बहुत सिंपल तरीके से आप दर्शन है क्या आपको बस वो बताया. So now we are going to enter in the scene which is like we are going to discuss Nyaya, Vaisheshik, Sankhya, Yoga, Vedanta and KS. And in all these darshanas the number varies. So you just put it clearly what is the number. In the Nyaya system we have 6 object of cognition. Nyaya 6, Vaisheshik 7, Sankhya 24 plus 1, it's like it should be 25. So you can write correct one 25, but I have split it to denote some specificity. वो कैसे वो +1 को लाते हैं. So once I will start explaining the Sankhya school, then you would understand ये +1 बाद में क्यों आया गया. So in total it is 25. Yoga 25 plus 1, that means 1 more from the Sankhya, that is 26. Vedanta 2, and Kashmir Shravadarshan, the highest number of objects of cognition, 36. In the same way, see the Pramar section, means of cognition. Nyaya accepts 4, Vaisheshik same 4, Sankhya 3, Yoga 3, Vedanta 6, and the last one, Kashmir Shaiva is the most special one, which says all and none. So because of this system, or you can say because of the concept of Pramad, I have clubbed the systems. Nyaya Vaisheshik accepts 4. That's why I have clubbed them together and explain on the same line. Nyaya Vaisheshik 4 system, 4 Pramadas. Sankhya Yoga 3, Vedanta 6, and KS says all and none. All and none, what does it mean? Up to a limit, all Pramadas are valid, all evidences are valid up to a limit. Because once you would touch infinity, a kind of anant, अखंडम सच्चिदानंदम अनंता द्वयम ब्रह्म, वेदांत कहेगा, और उसी को परम शिव के रूप में जब एक्सप्लेन करना शुरू करेगा केएस, तो आपको बताएगा कि a thing, the age of अनाश्रित शिव तत्व, age of anashrit shiv tattva. In the last course, HS 1317, I explained, if you just calculate the age of anashrit shiv tattva, your calculator doesn't work. एक्सपोनेंशियली भी आप उसे कैलकुलेट नहीं कर सकते, कलन स्टॉप हो जाता है. द वर्ड कलन इज द बेस थिंग टू डिनोट कैलकुलेशन. ठीक है, इसी से बना है ये वर्ड कलन. Kalan means calculate something, to calculate something, and if you are not able to calculate something, that means the Kalan process stops or fails, then it is limitlessness. लिमिटलेसनेस, जिसकी लिमिट आप कभी नाप ही ना सकें, वो है लिमिटलेसनेस. सो ऐसी स्टेट जहाँ आपका ऑब्जेक्ट ऑफ कॉग्निशन लिमिटलेस हो जाए, beyond the boundaries of the calculation chala jaye, then there would be no pramad valid to measure out the prameya. You cannot measure limitlessness or infinity with a finite substance. For example, take this pen. इस पेन की एक लिमिटेड लेंथ है, क्योंकि आपको पता है कि यहाँ से शुरू किया, यहाँ पे ख़त्म हो गया. सपोज द टॉप वन बिकम्स इन्फिनिटी, तो आप इसको कैसे नापेंगे? दैट देयर वुड बी नो स्केल टू मेजर इट आउट. You cannot create a scale to measure the infinity unless and until the scale is itself infinity. Clear? That's the thing. Limitlessness can only be measured out with a limitless entity. In that case, Kashmir Shaiva Darshan has a very clear stand. If your object is something which is beyond the limitations, there is no instrument perfect to measure it out, until and unless the instrument itself becomes limitless. And that's why it accepts all and none. All evidences or pramadas are valid, but up to a limit. Up to a limit, there is a limit, and after that there would be no limited substance and there would be no limited instrument. Very clear. And if you talk about the cognizer pramata, same thing is going to be explained. Like Nyaya Vaisheshik has the basic understanding, because they are starting from the grossest possible level. अभी वो डिस्कोर्स शुरू करने वाले हैं, अब शुरुआत करने में सबसे कम नॉलेज होती है. सो इन द बिगिनिंग इटसेल्फ दे आर इन अ क्वेश्चन वेदर द कॉग्नाइजर इज वन और मल्टीपल. And then slowly when they move towards the Sankhya Yoga, when the discourse goes to the scholars to the Sankhya Yoga, then they accept like no, multiple is not the real one. Multiple is just because of the erroneous knowledge, errors, faulty things. That's why the readings are different. Otherwise there is only one single cognizer, They focus on the one. And then Vedanta says it's actually one, Akhandam Satchidanandam Anantadvayam Brahma, and the consciousness, the pure consciousness is really non-dual entity. Here in Sankhya Yoga, though they accept the one, but still they focus on the two to explain the reality. They say because one cannot define the diversity. So in order to define the diversity, I need the two things, dualness. Unless there is dualness, you cannot imagine the multiplicity. Multiplicity, or you can say multiple appearance are in existence just because the the same entity gets reflected into different ones. So that's why though they understand, they accepted this plus 1, that's why I have mentioned separately plus 1. They identified that the one thing is the ultimate, but still in order to explain the diversity we need to focus on the dualness. तभी वो dual systems हैं, dualistic systems हो गए. And lastly, Kashmir Shaiva Darshan explains the 7 levels of the same cognizer. Means Kashmir Shaiva Darshan is also accepting that the cognizer is only one, but that cognizer passes through 7 levels of upgradation. Just like your software gets upgraded. So you are not changing the basic hardcore structure, but software means the inside way of understanding is slowly getting enhanced, more sophisticated. So the levels are being upgraded. So the same one single cognizer has or possess 7 levels of expression. This is the understanding of Kashmir Shaiva Darshan. Clear? On the basis of this one, we need to have some questions, like for example, define darshan. So what would be the answer? You can say like, or if you say, the same question is being given to you like, write down the derivational definition of darshan. अगर derivational definition पूछी जाए, that means you are supposed to answer the definition which is coming from the root drish. So drishyate anen iti darshanam, if you wish to write in English like through which we perceive, that becomes darshan. This is the define darshan. Two aspects, two possible ways. If something is being asked you derivational definition, that means you are supposed to be answer the definition of that particular word from the root, like pathati, pathata, pathanti or pathyate. The root is pat. So from the root itself you have to define. In the same way, drishyate anen iti darshanam, the root is drish. So if you wish, if you are being asked like you write down the derivational definition of the word darshan, then it would be like through which we perceive is darshan. What is the root present in the word darshan? Drish. In IAST it would be like drish. Then differentiate term consciousness and consciousness. In the last lecture I explained dualness and non-dualness. Okay, write down the classification of darshan. 6 systems. You have to write Nyaya, Vaisheshik, Sankhya, Yoga, Vedanta and Kashmir Shaiva Darshan. You can classify them non-dual, then non-dual come dual, and then last is dual. So classification of darshan, this is the classification. Clear? This is the answer. Classification of darshan is based on 3 it can be done on the following aspects like non-dual, then non-dual come dual, and then last one dual. Write down the stages of deviation of consciousness from the previous slide. Stages of deviation: vacant, dream and deep sleep, Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupti. Fill in the blanks. Sarva Darshan Sangraha is written by Madhvacharya from the slide itself. Those who came late, just note down and then re-study. So Madhvacharya is the one who has compiled 16 darshanas in his compendium that is titled as Sarva Darshan Sangraha. Acquired knowledge is termed as Pramiti. Then if the acquired knowledge is valid, then it becomes Prama. If the acquired knowledge is invalid, it is known as Aprama. Clear? Okay, for this lecture this is sufficient. Thank you.